you've chosen gratitude. This is something I've heard you say. I think that we can agree humanly that that wouldn't be the natural response to what you are walking through. What do you feel the last school year taught you about gratitude and suffering? Difficult topics, often not together. What have you learned through this?
Mm. What is last year taught me about gratitude and suffering? That's also a great question. I think the first thing that I had to learn was to be thankful for the time that I got with our daughter. I know that several families, they've lost a loved one, or miscarriage, or child that's older than ours, or even a child that's the same age. My mom, early on in bereavement, had shared with me, she said, what are the three things you could thank God for today? How can you, not forget the losses? You can't, right? You can, but you can take time to, posture your heart. I think that just like anything, like learning how to do a skill, how to master a skill, like multiplication, fact fluency, reading fluency, I think one needs to develop a skill of being grateful, strengthening that muscle. So for me, that looked like journaling about some of the hard feelings that came up day to day, and just thanking God for the time that we had. So, for example, even recently, I paused and I asked God. I said, God, I need help right now, to be grateful. And I think sometimes we are afraid to ask God for things like that, because we think we have to be, thankful all the time, or just in this space of, I don't know, like we can do things on our own. We're sheep. That's what the Bible talks about.
Yeah,
We
God
forget.
might realize we're not perfect. Oh no.
Right, exactly. But I have been learning what it means to just pause and thank God. And I think that's what also helps me be a better teacher, because now I know that even more so that time is precious. They're only going to be in your class once. They're only going to be, you're only going to partner with these parents, maybe once or twice if they have younger children. So why not, create time in the day? Why not create time in your morning to pause and to thank God, and to interact with people as if it's the last time you see them, and not necessarily out of fear or out of panic, but from a place of, we have breath in our bodies. We have an opportunity to interact with the people who God's put in our sphere, for that moment. What do we have? What we know is that moment. And so being aware of that, living in that space of the present, while also remembering the past and looking to the future, it's constantly living in tension. And that's where the Holy Spirit comes in, just relying on the Holy Spirit to give you eyes to see and ears to hear. I keep going back to that because, without God, I cannot teach. Without God, I cannot, move forward. So it's through my faith in God, and reading His Word, and being surrounded by our community, going with counseling. My wife and I are in counseling, and I fully recommend that if you have gone through a loss. Are you connected to a Bible believing church? Are you able to get counseling? Because those tools, being surrounded by a people of faith who know God, who can encourage you, who can point you back to Him in times of loss, are so critical when you're trying to practice gratitude. So
Yeah.
I think for me, just being able to take pause and to thank God, not only for my daughter, but for my students. My principal, who I already mentioned, is just super encouraging of that, reminding teachers, are you thanking God for your students today? Are you praying for your students? So in the mornings when I get here, and I don't always remember this, but I really try to make a habit of going around each and every desk and thanking God for them, by saying them by name. I thank God for this student. I thank God for this student. I thank God for these students. Lord, help us to get to know you even better today. Help us to grow closer to you today. Help us to continue to be a classroom family today. And how do we do that? Through the Lord, through open communication, and continuing to make time in the schedule to connect.
Enjoyed this short clip? That was just a sneak peek into a full episode on the Teacher Edition podcast. We are passionate about supporting Christian educators like you. Looking for more inspiration and practical strategies you could use today? Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by BJU Press.